Yes, stewardess, I will have a clearly Canadian with a tall glass of ice, please. Thank you. Thank you so much. Oh, yes, and there you go. I always like to tip with a $2 bill. I think it adds a lot more, I don't know, whimsy and mystery whenever you're in a tipping situation. So I carry around a lot of $2 bills. Yes. It is me. Yeah, you're right. I didn't know if anyone would recognize me on the plane, but I've just been on this book tour for weeks now. But it is I, Cynthia Beige, famous pet psychic. Yes. Well, I get to finally heading home. Honestly, it's a little bit earlier than planned. I've been doing the daytime talk show circuit, for weeks now, and I was supposed to go on to Joan Rivers, and then she cancels last minute because she's gonna have this shock rock segment going on, and she's, I'm booted off the bill, and instead she's got Gawar. I've never heard of Gawar before in my life, but anyways, I'm glad to be heading home a little early. Oh, you have my book too? Yes, it's Paws and Premonitions, Memoirs of a Pet Psychic. So, yeah. You've read it? I just love meeting fans. If you've got a copy on you, I could sign it if you want. Or you could just have this copy. I'll sign it for you. I've got plenty. So, you want to know what all the different hosts were like on the talk shows? Yeah. Well, I'll tell you. Now, the Oprah, first one that comes to mind. Love Oprah Winfrey. Now, she smells absolutely amazing. I don't know what it is, and she wouldn't tell me exactly what the perfume was, but she just tended to grab your hands, and then she'll look into your eyes and she'll say something really profound and beautiful, and then you just melt. It's really, really special being on her program. And then her fans were just all really, really excited to be there. And frankly, there was just a lot of good energy. So I loved going on the Oprah Winfrey show. Right. Yeah, and then after Oprah, I did Phil Donahue. Now, this guy, he barely sat down the whole time. He's asking me questions. I'm telling stories about, some of the, pets in my book. And he just keeps walking around, just talking and walking and asking the audience questions. And then I'll be honest with you, I kept getting a lot of glare off of his head because of his, his white gray hair. I got a little distracted, so that one was a little bit challenging. And he had an interesting audience. Now, who else was there? Oh, after Donahue, I think we went over to Sally Jesse Raphael. Now, she doesn't smell quite as good as Oprah, but she doesn't smell bad either. It's just, it's just different. But, she was really sweet. She asked a lot of good questions. She kept the audience engaged. And then I'm honestly a big fan of hers now because she let me try on her red glasses. I've always wanted to see what I look like in her red glasses. It's quite a fun signature she's got there. So, Sally Jesse's all right in my book. Oh, and then who else was there? After Sally Jesse, there was Geraldo. I'm not going back on his program, I'll tell you that right now. Now, I get there, and, I told him, I'm pet psychic, but sometimes I get human premonitions here and there. And I say to him, Geraldo, I have a premonition that you shave your mustache off. And after I said that, he was just quite rude and short with me. Didn't really want to give me the time of day. And so, it's fine. I say it like I see it. It's part of being clairvoyant. And maybe he's got a little dog in him, and that's why, he just didn't want to hear about my premonition. Now, it's Oprah, Phil, Sally, Geraldo. I went on Ricki Lake. I love Ricki Lake. She's got such a bubbly personality, and I feel like, she is really sweet, and she's always trying to do something nice for you. And she offered to give me a makeover, and I said I'm not interested in a makeover, but thank you very much. And then she ended up doing some makeovers for the folks in the audience. So it didn't really get to talk about some of the experiences and pet psychic information from the book. But the audience had a great time. People got a new wardrobe. It was fine. Now, after Ricki Lake, you know what? Ricki Lake was also really good at giving hugs. Probably the best at giving a hug that I've come across in daytime talk shows. After Ricki Lake, the last one that I did was Lisa Gibbons. Now, she was doing her segment Unbelievable, and that's why she wanted to have me on for the Pet Psychic book. But I didn't think it was very unbelievable, so I was a little confused about that. Now, I loved her hair, and I kind of want to ask my stylist. I said, last time I went in, I said, I want a Lisa Gibbons. I want you to, give me that cut with the volume, and it's a little shorter. And what happened was I asked for a Lisa Gibbons, but she ended up giving me a John Tesh. So it's grown out since, but can't always get what you ask now. So what were some of your favorite stories from the book since you read it? Yeah, Penelope. Penelope's a really popular one. She's a toy poodle from Beverly Hills. Now, I'll tell you, because this dog, she said that she was Betty Davis reincarnated, and I believed her, because, she would just curse up a storm and ask for a pack of smokes. It was the strangest thing, because you don't usually hear that from a dog. And, she had a lot of personality and the strangest look in her eyes all the time. But, eventually we got her to accept that she was now a toy poodle. And she's usually fine, but, she'd prefer to get back on the acting stage again. Now, there was one I didn't include in the book, and I don't know how it didn't make it in there, but I had this little boy cat, and his name was Mittens. Now, Mittens was telling me how he was in the CIA, and you know, he had me convinced. He said, I need you to check my litter box. That's where I have all my hidden documents, in the litter box. And so, you know, I go over to the litter box, like, scoop around a little bit, and, you know, I'm like, okay, show me. What do you got? What do you got? And there's nothing in there but some poops. And I said, you know, are these the documents you're talking about? The classified documents? And what has it turned out? He had been switched onto a new kind of catnip, and it was causing some psychological side effects, and so he was a little bit paranoid. We ended up taking him off the catnip cold turkey, but he's doing much better now, and Mittens is much more well adjusted, and not acting so strange. Now, oh, you know, my favorite from the book, probably, you know, we had this parrot, Petey, and we don't get that many parrots. I love talking to birds. They have a lot to say, but Petey the parrot just kept yelling, Erica, 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 all the time, and the owner just didn't know what was going on. Very confused by, you know, this new behavior. Turns out that Petey was obsessed with soap operas. So he told me, you know, if you don't turn on All My Children, I will scream. And then he did. And then just kept yelling, Erica, Erica. So he really just needed to have time every day to watch his soaps, in particular, All My Children. So that's what that was about. And, you know, this owner's obliged, didn't mind at all. So that was quite an interesting reading there. And then I also had, oh gosh, this really sweet golden retriever. Remember that one from Gus? So now Gus was so sweet, and you know, it was so strange because every time I would go in the house, if somebody played any sort of an Elvis song, Gus would go absolutely wild. And he'd run around, he'd start, you know, tearing up pillows on the couch, he'd start, you know, grabbing shoes and just going wild. And I talked with him a little bit, and it turned out that in a past life, you see, Gus was actually working at a casino, and I guess what happened was that he didn't give me a lot of details, Gus, but at the casino he was a blackjack dealer, and Elvis ruined his career. That's all he told me. So he said, Elvis ruined my career and I hate him. So he also said that Elvis was a real dirtbag. I don't know. So interesting story, but you know, after that, he just made sure that this Gus golden retriever never saw, you know, Elvis on TV, no Elvis music, no Elvis impersonators, no going to Las Vegas at all. And you know, just being real mindful of Elvis memorabilia. Really tragic story, but he seemed fine. Oh, and then what was your favorite? Yeah, I do have a soft spot for ferrets. So, oh, you're talking about Pumpkin, the ferret named Pumpkin? Yeah. So, you know, in a past life, I sat down with Pumpkin, and we had a good heart-to-heart. And I said, you know, what's going on? Why are you, you know, so sad? What's happening here? And you know, I held his little ferret paws, and I said, how can I help you? And Pumpkin told me that in his past life, he was an aerobics champion. And Pumpkin said, I am so bored, and I really need a, a gym in my enclosure. I need a lot more physical enrichment. And I also need a glass of Crystal Light and a sweatband. Got him the Crystal Light, put a little sweatband on his head, and after that, Pumpkin was 100% better, really loving life. So yeah, there's just so many good stories in this book, and I was thrilled to be able to go on this book tour, but honestly, I'm just happy to be heading home. And just taking a little break, having a little breather. But I'm glad it's on the bestsellers list, that's for sure. Well, again, it's always so nice to meet a fan. Would you like me to do a reading for you? I just need a picture of your animal. Okay. Oh, well, this is very interesting. I haven't done too many slug readings before, I'll be honest with you. Okay, well, just give me a moment. Oh, I've got it. I'm seeing it. What's this slug's name? Henry. Yes. Okay. Now, Henry was actually a dancer, a rockette, the Radio City Music Hall. Now, he says he would be so much happier if you would take him to New York City around the holidays and just take him to one more performance. He says he needs to be up on the stage, and he's happy to sit inside of a performer's top hat, or he said something about a Nutcracker style hat, like a toy soldier hat. Stick him in the hat, and he just needs to be up on the stage one more time. That's all he wants. Seems like kind of a big ask, but if you love him, he'll do it. Well, again, so nice to meet a fan, and I think I'm just gonna take a nap for the rest of this flight, but I might bother you in a little bit to get up so I can go use the restroom. Good night.